I like to know, I like to believe that there is something after. And if there is something after, that means that there's a progression that happens in this life that can continue into the next. But even if there isn't anything after death, I had an amazing life as a result of believing that there's something after. If you believe that everything in your life is fantastic, you'll have a fantastic life. And so the secret to life, if you will, is to understand how to make in your brain, in your mind, in your understanding, to make everything and anything into something fantastic. When it's happening, it is not fantastic. It is horrible. It is maybe even disgusting. It is troublesome. It is difficult. It's hard. But no matter how hard or difficult it has a solution. And if there's no solution for you, specifically because something happened to you or something is your reality, it can be avoided for someone else or solved for someone else in the future through your efforts. No effort is wasted if you can make someone else's life better. If you can help someone to improve their situation who has the same problem or uh who has the same problem as you did or as you currently have, because you prevented them from having that situation, or you warned them from it, or you helped them to solve it once they're in it, then the thing that happened to you became a fantastic thing. Because everything in life is about relationships. And you helping someone else, putting in effort for their daily situation to improve and to get better and to continuously be filled with joy, bliss, and happiness because you understand them, then that causes them to now like you. It causes them to be grateful to you for you helping them, for you putting in the effort, for you caring when no one else cares. Because that is the lot that we've all been given. No one cares. No one cares about you because they think about themselves. They care about themselves so much. Why? Because they're the only person that they can feel. They individually can only feel what they individually are feeling. They don't feel what you're feeling, although they might. There's a huge probability chance that someone is out there feeling the exact same thing as you, or much, much, much worse. We just don't think about that when we go through all of the problems and trials and tribulations of life. We don't think about the fact that someone has it way worse than us somewhere else. When you're in it, you also especially don't care about the fact that someone else has a horrible situation out there. You don't care about it because you are a victim. The more of a victim you are, the more emotional you're going to be. And the more emotional you are, you're just re-emphasizing that everything is horrible. You're re-emphasizing that the emotion that you're feeling should not be happening. But it is happening. It's reality. You can't escape it. It is feedback from life that something is not quite right and that something has to change and that something can change. That's what's crazy about it. Is no matter what horrible thing is happening to you or has happened to you, you're still here watching this video. Whether someone sent it to you or you came across it by just searching on YouTube. You're here, which means that you have mental capacity to change your mindset and your frame of thinking in terms of the event or the reality that you're experiencing. You have the ability to change the way you think. I always thought it was, difficult, tricky, impossible to change the way I think when someone told me that that is the secret. That's how you change everything, is to change how you think about something. I would be like, what does that mean? Like, could you explain to me how changing the way I think is the solution to life? Because I don't even know how to go about it. I'm going to tell you in this video in a few simple steps. The way to change the way you think is to listen to other people, to be open-minded as a sponge to other people who think differently than you. If you believe you have all the answers, although your life is miserable, how is that going to change anything? You change your circumstance when you change. You change when you change your thoughts, your emotions, and your behaviors. And when someone else says something to you, you have the opportunity right there and then to either accept what they're saying or to reject what they're saying. When you accept what they're saying, you now adopt their way of thinking. Or your subconscious, at least, adopts what they're thinking. And your subconscious, right? Or you could call it the unconscious. No, unconscious is a better word for it. I don't like subconscious because, and I could go deeply into that of why I don't like the word subconscious, because it's like secondary to the actual conscious, but it's not, because it's actually more powerful than the conscience and than the conscious, right? It's unconscious, or the superior conscious. And why is it superior? It's because it is what dictates, okay? The stuff that's beneath the surface. That is what dictates what comes out to the conscious. So when someone says something to you, you either accept it or you reject it. And when you accept it, you allow it passage into the unconscious. And your unconscious doesn't know the difference between true or false. It just starts believing. And that can be a fantastic thing or a horrible thing. Because if the person that you're accepting information from, or their thoughts, or the way that they look at the world, if they have a horrible and a miserable life, and you start accepting that, then you will begin to feel like they feel. You will begin to think like they think. You'll begin to behave the way that they think. And if they're absolutely miserable, what are the benefits? There's no benefit to becoming more miserable when the purpose of life is to adopt joy, bliss, and happiness. That is the purpose of life, to understand how to help you to get joy, bliss, and happiness so that you can feel great. Why? Because it keeps you alive. That is the most important ingredient for a long life. The more miserable you are, the faster it's cut short. Right? The more happy you are, the more you want it to last. The more you enjoy it, the more you're excited to keep going. Because life is fantastic. We want to get you to that point. But right now, potentially, you're in a predicament or in a situation where there's suffering, where there's difficulty, where there's trials, where everything is difficult and horrible. And we're changing the reality of it by listening to other people who have what we want. Maybe it's joy, bliss, and happiness. Maybe it's a fantastic attitude. Maybe they have money and we don't. Maybe they have a beautiful girlfriend, right? Maybe they have X, Y, and Z. Insert something here that you desire. If you accept the thing that they say, even if it's completely contradictory to how you view the world, you're just like, wait, hold on a second. I didn't know that. Or that is very different to what I think. Maybe something is wrong with my thinking if that person has way more joy, bliss, and happiness than I do. And they might not. Okay? Just so you know, there's a lot of faking out there. So you need to know, you need to investigate whether someone has the truth and is not faking and they're actually genuine before you start accepting their mindset. Because if they're faking it, then you won't know, your unconscious won't know, and you'll be going on towards a path or on a path that leads to more misery and destruction. Because faking is lying. It is the opposite of honesty, which is the opposite of truth, obviously. And truth, the definition of truth is that which works in the long run and in the big scheme of things. And if you're applying something from someone who's lying and faking, then you are going in the opposite direction of truth. You're going in the direction of truth is going to give you more joy, bliss, and happiness. If you go in the opposite direction of truth, you are accepting more misery, more destruction, more difficulty, when it's not even necessary. There's an opposition in all things. And the thing that changes our behavior is pain and pleasure. And those are the two things that we're trying to, understand. What do I want from a pleasure perspective? And what do I want from a pain perspective? And the way that the human experience works, which is weird, but when you are moving towards good pain, because there's a bad pain and there's a good pain, when you're moving towards good pain, then you begin to experience more and more positive, good pleasure that lasts long term. And that's what produces joy, bliss, and happiness, when you experience something that's good for you and something that actually helps you and gives you more power to move forward. Like, that's a positive pleasure, right? The word pleasure has, obviously some weird connotations, but that's the opposition of pain, right? So if you're moving towards bad pain, then that's going to lead you towards more misery, because you're going, usually bad pain is immediate gratification based, meaning you want pleasure in the now. And that's what leads to more bad pain. It's like, I want immediate pleasure. I can't be patient. You combine this with the quote from Warren Buffett, when he said that the markets is a mechanism, is a device to take money from those that are impatient and give it to those that are patient. And that is basically the sentence of life. Because the people that are impatient are the ones moving towards immediate gratification, need pleasure now, and because I need pleasure now, and I need as much intensity of pleasure right now, the more intense pleasure you seek fast, the more destruction and misery you're going to have long term. You see what I'm talking about when I say that this is a math equation? Because the opposite of that is that you seek pain, positive pain, right? Things that's actually going to improve things in the long run for both yourself and for everyone around you. And you think about everyone around you. You're not only thinking about yourself. That good pain is going to make you stronger. It's going to make you better. It's going to create a much more improved future for you as a result, because it leads to long-term pleasure, long-term benefits, long-term compounded wins, if you will. And once you understand this concept, you begin to understand life. Because it doesn't matter what has happened to you. It could be the most horrific thing. Like, if you have a mental illness, which is really just a physical illness, you can still improve upon it somehow. If you understand my message, okay, then you have some form of mental health, right? Because you have comprehension, and you can actually turn things around if you because you have choice. You have the ability to take information, process it, and then use it in a positive direction, right? Someone who has complete no mental health, which would be a physical ailment, they would not be able to hear my message and comprehend it. And if they can't comprehend it, they can't apply it, and as a result, they can't improve their situation. So they would actually be victims, right? But the fact that you are understanding my message and comprehending it means that you can accept my message, you can adopt it, you can change your way of thinking and adopt more of my thinking that might be, a positive thing for you. Then things are going to improve for you and go in the right direction. But it starts with you adopting correct angles to a situation compared to the angle of victimhood that you might have had in the past. You can be something else than a victim. It is extremely difficult, however, I recognize it. It's extremely difficult to get out of the victim mindset when you are feeling intense physical and emotional pain. It is not normal for you to manage to overcome this in a fast manner, to get out of that victim mindset, because it's happening to you, right? Anything that's happening to you, you're going to feel like a victim, at least temporarily. But then you have a choice. At some point during that process, you have a choice to look at it from a perspective of, this is good for me. This was part of the plan. The universe is giving me a gift. I am grateful for what I'm feeling right now, even though it is painful, even though I think I'm going to die. I'm grateful for it, and it's that gratitude that actually allows you to live another day, to live another second, to live for someone else than yourself. You have that pain, you have the physical, the emotional pain, whatever it is that's happening to you, other people in the future is going to experience the exact same thing. And maybe even worse than what you are feeling right now. And you can do something that can help them to not feel as horrible as you are feeling. You can do something for someone else. And when you do, they are appreciative. And as a result, you feel important. And it's not just that you feel important, you actually are important. You made yourself important because you went out there to solve someone else's problem. You thought bigger than just in here. And the universe rewards individuals that think outside of themselves, that think big. And that's a math equation as well. How many people's lives are you able to change for the better? And that is a diversification thing, right? It's like, if you're a famous person that produced something that is valuable for other people, great. You probably will make a lot of money if you are making it into something that costs money, right? It's up to you how much you want to donate to the world. The more you donate, not in terms of money, but in terms of your service to humanity, the more you sacrifice for humanity, the more reward you will receive long term. Most probably, if there is something after death, right? If you created a win-win situation that paid you for the thing that you did for them, then great, you got paid in this life, right? The less you take paid, that means that the more, the equilibrium shifts in your favor for what happens after this life. This is the equilibrium of life, is that if you're continuously trying to be poor because you're giving away everything that you've got at all times, okay? You think of the Jesus quote is like, take up your cross, give away all of your belongings, and give it to the poor, and come follow me. Okay, cool. But wouldn't it be more effective if I actually created win-win situations that gave me more power so that I can do more good in the world because I have the capacity to hire tons of people and have them do good full time with the product and service or solution that I bring to the world so that tons of people can change their lives, right? And so there's a balance between that aspect of I want to give tons of benefit to other people and I want to do that immediately. Instead, perhaps it's better to compound the wins also financially, because then if you're giving it away for free, then people might not take it as beneficial. Like Jesus healed people for free, right? According to the book, okay? And then he made the story that might have happened where it was 10 dudes that had been healed and only one of them came back. If they had had to pay for it, then probably all 10 would have come back. Maybe, right? Or 5 of the 10 would have come back because they actually didn't take it for granted. They didn't receive it for free. They actually exchanged something for the thing that they received. So I'm looking at it from a overview perspective of a win-win situation. You want to create win-wins because it gives both people more power to do good. And you want to create win-win situations with good people. And you don't want to interact or negotiate or work with people that actually are bad or who are fakers, because the people you spend time with are those that you become like, right? And you begin to adopt their thinking, going back to the principle. So let's review this for a second. Death is giving up the ghost. You never ever want to give up. Death is a bad thing. If you are alive and healthy and you want to make sure that you expand your life for as long as possible because you want to do good and you want to help people and make their lives better and more improved. Okay? And you also want the people that you love to have you in their life so that you can do more good for them. Okay? So death is it can be a good thing when it has happened, because then it's already happened. But until then, we try to avoid death as long as possible to promote and to prolong doing good to other people. Okay? But when someone has already passed away, we have to turn it around. It's something that happened in the past. We can't change the past. We can only change what we're doing in the present and what we can do about, something in the future. And so if it has happened, we have to now turn it into something fantastic. But if it hasn't happened yet, we want to prevent it. We want to prevent pain. We want to prevent injury. We want to prevent suffering. Because there's a lot of people that give up. There's a lot of people that don't get access to this information that you're hearing right now. And if they had, they would understand it. Potentially, right? And so we want to help people to understand this before they cross over. Because we don't know if there's something on the other side. If there is something on the other side, freaking awesome. Then maybe, hopefully, they'll learn it on the other side. But it's probably faster and quicker if people learn about it here. Okay? So you never, ever, ever want to give up. You want to get up again because there's other people who need you. And if you give up, that means that you don't care. Okay? Unless they feel that it's necessary that you pass on as well, right? Which is a different discussion. Okay? But if you're still alive, you can find joy, bliss, and happiness. You can tap into it if you're still alive. And those of you who are watching this video, you're still alive and you can still do great things. Okay? The worse the situation is, the more empathy you're going to have towards other people's problems. The more you're going to care about other people as a result of the worse your situation is, as long as you never give up, as long as you keep going, as long as you turn that thing that happened to you into a positive thing. That makes the worst situation a fantastic thing because you are more understanding of other people. Okay, this is great. There's always someone worse off than you out there somewhere. Always. People love you and care about you, and they want the best for you. If they cared. Now, there's a lot of people that don't care, but there are people out there, and most probably in your inner circle, who do care about you, right? And the way to care about them is to serve them and to do good to them. And you can change if you have continuously done bad things to them. You can change. And if you change, that shows them that they can change, and you're creating now an inspiration for them, which is a great thing. All of this comes together when you understand it. You are either a victim or you're grateful. Those two do not go hand in hand. When you receive a gift, it was something that happened to you, but you're happy about it. If something happens to you and you're negative about it, you're not being grateful. You're being entitled that you should have received something else. But that's not going to lead you in the right direction. Entitlement is the opposite of gratitude. And our job right here in this life is to learn gratitude. That's like one of the biggest things that we're here to learn. That's one of the purposes of life. Because gratitude produces joy, bliss, and happiness. Being a victim and being entitled produces the opposite. Because it's based on expectation, isn't it? A leader's biggest job is to manage expectations. And in order for you to manage other people's expectations, you have to learn to manage your own expectations. And the way to manage your own expectations is by being absolutely 100% grateful for whatever happens to you. Because when good things happen to you, your joy amplifies. And it becomes absolutely amazing. I can't believe that this happened to me because, wow, I'm so grateful. To find joy, bliss, and happiness, no matter the situation. That's what strength is. Are you capable of being massively grateful for something that's horrible, that has happened to you as a victim? The more grateful you are, the more strength you're showing. And that's a man's duty and responsibility to become stronger and stronger every single day. And when you are growing old and becoming weaker and weaker and weaker, the stronger you manage to make your mentality, the less pain you're going to have in your old age, right? It's like it is the old people that are grateful and excited about life who have less pain because they take care of themselves and they take care of other people. And as a result, they are not resolved to staying a victim. And this is why they also live longer. So you combine all these principles and you end up having a fantastic life, but also a fantastic old age, which is one of the things that people are afraid of. There's nothing to be afraid of. You don't have to be afraid of death. And as long as you keep doing good, right? And you keep being of service to other people, you don't have to fear old age because you will have greater capacity in your old age. And the more fit, the more mentally healthy you are, the better and more healthy you are, the more people are going to be like, whoa, you are doing amazing. How are you capable of doing this? And people your age are going to be like, oh my gosh, I wish that I had 10% of your energy and your health and your... That's going to make you feel important. And that's going to make you feel good about yourself. And guess where that came from? It's someone else that felt good about you. And they like you, and as a result, you like them, and as a result, you have better relationships and more joy, bliss, and happiness. Very simple. And the worse the situation, the more capable, the stronger, the more powerful you become as you overcome it. Okay? So, you can make it so that the hardest thing that you ever experienced was the best thing that ever happened to you. You can make it so that the hardest thing that ever happened to you, the hardest time period in your life, becomes the best thing that ever happened to you. It could have been that you got fired, and you didn't have sufficient needs for what you needed to do. But then you changed your mindset about it, and suddenly that created a breakthrough where you now started moving forward with the because you couldn't lose any more than what you've already lost. You were at rock bottom. And usually it's when you're at rock bottom that you can, like when you're in a pool, okay, just using this as an example, and you hit rock bottom, what happens? You literally can put your feet down and you jump off of it so that you can speed forward to the top in order for you to get your breath of fresh air. But if you're in the pool and there's no bottom, it makes it extremely difficult to actually progress upwards, especially if something's holding you down. And so hitting rock bottom is a fantastic thing if you didn't cause it to yourself, right? It's a fantastic thing if you actually never give up. And that's the scenario we want to bring you towards, where you bounce off of the floor and you move towards fresh air. So you got fired. Fantastic. Why? Because you will find a better job where you're actually wanted and that is more aligned with your skill set and more aligned with your dreams and goals and where you want to go. The fact that you got fired, that's a great thing. If you quit yourself, okay, and you absolutely loved that job, then why did you quit? So the fact that you quit shows that you didn't want to do that thing. So there's something else that you do want to do, and that's what you should be pursuing. And the fact that you quit makes it a fantastic thing. Now, what you can do is to try and get your job back, right? Or you can choose to get a different thing that's better than the thing that you had. And then suddenly you've made it a fantastic thing that you quit your job. It was a fantastic thing that you got fired. It's a fantastic thing that your girlfriend broke up with you or cheated on you. It's a fantastic thing because that just shows you that that was the wrong person to be with. But you learned a lot from that experience, and now you apply the new learnings. Okay? Everything that you learn, you begin to apply it. Guess what? If you actually are grateful for the experience and you learn everything you can about female nature and about how it works and what the information is out there, it will never happen to you again. And maybe you can make it so that 10,000 dudes, 100,000 dudes, or millions of dudes never have that experience happen to them. But they learned it. They understood. They understood the principle, and that's why it didn't happen to them. It's not that you prevented it from, you don't want to prevent bad things from happening to people so they don't learn the lesson. But if there are people out there that are willing to learn the lesson and apply it, and they will never have to go through that same pain because they wanted to avoid it. But you can't, we can't stop people from experiencing learning the lesson. Everyone needs to learn the lessons. But we want to prevent the pain if there are people out there that are willing to educate themselves so that they can prevent it by choice. Not because the opposite of I don't care about educating myself. I'm just going to do whatever I want. And I don't care. Great. They're going to eventually learn their lesson. And you don't want to waste your time with the low leverage activity of educating someone that doesn't want to learn from you and that doesn't want to avoid the pains. Then they just have to experience it. Obviously, there's caveats to all of these, right? But I'm just explaining the principle in general is we all have to learn our lessons, but you want to help those that are willing to help themselves, right? The simple steps that I mentioned in this video were simply to absorb information from people that have what you want. Begin to apply that information and get their help to apply the information, because that's the whole point, is choose your friends wisely. Your friends are the people that you communicate with, and they hopefully have a much better life than you. And your job is to serve them as much as possible so that it's a win-win situation for you to be in their life, for them to be in your life, so that they continue to spend time with you, so that you can begin to morph into understanding their mindset and their thinking, so that you get the thing that they've got. This is the secret to life. This is the secret to success. This is how you get rich. This is how you get the best family. This is how you get the best health. It's always choose your friends wisely. That sentence from Robert Kiyosaki in Rich Dad Poor Dad, where he said that you are the average of the 5 people you spend most time with, completely and utterly transformed my understanding of this principle. And I'm just relating that back to you. If you choose wisely who your friends are, that means that you know what you want, you've understood and grasped what you want, and you're knowing yourself more as a result. Now you begin to search, because that's what life is about. It's finding something. It's finding what you're looking for. And what you are looking for, whether you know it or not, are the correct friends that will lead you in the direction of your dreams and goals, of where you want to go. And your dreams and goals are joy, bliss, and happiness, and great relationships. And if you are seeking those friends out, and they're fired up about helping you because you make them fired up about helping you, because you are good to them, you're excited to be in their presence, you give them gifts, you're a win-win situation in their life, you will naturally move towards what they've got. Those are the steps. That's it. You will get what you want if you just do that, right? And I'm excited for you, because I wish I understood this principle way back. It wasn't simplified like this for me. I had to figure out the principle because I was, in many ways, naturally applying it throughout my entire life. But there's so many people that never understand this concept, and so I'm just trying to simplify life as much as possible so that the average person could be like, whoa, that's why I need to be a good person. That's why, or that's how I get joy, bliss, and happiness. Exactly. So, hope you got something out of this one.